Welcome to the New Flat Rate podcast. We started out as a contracting family, and now we give other service providers practical tools for their toolkits. If you have any questions or want to learn more, visit us at menupricing.com.
What is going on? Hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm excited to be talking to Pete Danielson with Service Nation, and we're going to talk about the surge in the contracting marketplace right now, what's going on, and how contractors are navigating growth. We're also going to talk about Service World Expo and what you can expect for this fall. So tune in. Good morning. My name is Danielle Putnam. I'm the president of the New Flat Rate, and thank you for joining us and listening in today. I'm very excited to introduce you to Pete Danielson, the Vice President of Market Development for Service Nation. Pete, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Glad that you're here. Now, Pete, we were going to talk about the surge in the market right now, what's going on for contractors, this busy season, this historic growth that we've never seen before. What can you dive us into?
It's been remarkable. I've been in the industry for 32 years, and I've never seen anything quite like this. It's, I think one CEO described the market as blistering, which, is one step to the right of hot. It's been really, really fascinating to watch. To see how manufacturers are responding, their challenges with supply chain, and really how contractors are responding. You think about how amazing that they have been to be able to handle this kind of change over the last 18 months,
right.
Be able to navigate those waters, and then also be able to keep their workforce engaged and not burn them out, because we're seeing growth in 30, 40, 50, 60% numbers. And, how do you handle that without burning out your workforce is a real challenge.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that the truth? And I love how you said, that they've done a great job. I don't think many of us have done a good enough job highlighting the good job that contractors really have done navigating this change, because it's something that we don't get to experience all the time, and they really have embraced it and grown, especially last year when there were so many unknowns in 2020. What do we do? And contractors really said, hey, we're going to just push forward and we're going to keep working and keep serving, which they did.
Absolutely. I was listening to a keynote speaker, and he said something that made me think about the contractors. He said, we never outgrow the need as human beings to hear the words, I love you and I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
And I thought, isn't that true? And so, to the contractors out there, I think we all need to say we're really proud of you, the way that you've been able to, keep our country going and keep people healthy and keep them comfortable. It's really been remarkable.
It really has. So I'm glad that you said that. We do love you and we are very proud of you. Hey, Pete, before we go too far, do you mind just giving me a little bit of backstory about yourself and tell us, you said that you've been in the industry for 32 years. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, I started when I was 2. So, I have, I think, a fairly diverse and interesting background. I've been in all segments of our industry. I started my career on the distribution side.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to the manufacturing side, worked for a major manufacturer. And then I ended up buying a contracting business and went into the residential contracting world. Recently sold that business, and now have started working with Service Nation to try to give back some of my knowledge and some of my experiences to our members and to contractors across the country.
Wow, that's terrific. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm glad to see that you're at Service Nation. What a good team to be a part of.
It's been great. I've really enjoyed the people. And I tell you what, the members that we have are phenomenal. So it's been really wonderful. And our partners too. It's been great getting to know everybody.
Yeah. We've been vendor partners, I guess, and friends of Service Nation for a really long time. And my dad had a contracting business my whole life growing up. And so we've always been contracting members as well. And we really attribute a lot to Service Roundtable, Service Nation. They've really been a big rock and platform for us over the years.
No, well, thank you, number one. And one of the quotes that I use that's in my office is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Mm-hmm.
And having, people with you on your team, like a Service Nation, like a new flat rate, somebody that can help you and partner with you as you're, navigating your business, I think is critical.
Yeah, it sure is. And speaking of team, let's talk a little bit about the actual direct teams of contractors right now, their technicians, their field staff, and even their office staff. So with this surge and the busyness and the extreme growth, right, that not everybody was prepared for, and with the demands and the shortages that are happening too, with all of that and all the changes, what can we do to make sure that we keep our teams engaged right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. And a little backdrop to it. Everyone knows that we're really busy, but I pulled some industry numbers and just some historical, through May in this year, we've seen furnace shipments go up 60%.
Wow.
Condensing units, we've shipped 1 million more than we did last year.
What?
1 million more condensing units have shipped than this time. So just when you start to look at these numbers, it's remarkable, right? So from a contractor, how would you plan to grow your business 60%, right? And where do you find the infrastructure for that? And most contractors wouldn't have planned for 60% growth, couldn't have planned for 60% growth. And so they're doing everything they can to satisfy their customers. They're doing everything they can to satisfy their teams, and still trying to have a balance point between, good quality of life. And one of the things that we're seeing is the contractors that are having the best luck are the ones that have learned to engage with their teams, have deeper connections, more than just a superficial boss relationship, but a deeper connection to their teams, and are able to check in with their team and say, how are you holding up? Are you getting to a breaking point? Are you getting burned out? Where are you? And I'm asking for that feedback from the field and from the office to say, hey, boss, I need a break. And I think it's so important to have that kind of dialogue and connection, because if you don't, the risk is that someone will make a bad decision, perhaps leave the company. And that's obviously that's catastrophic for everybody if you're losing great people because they're just at a breaking point, because, we're trying to do the best we can, but we've just got such a surge here that it is a challenge. So I would summarize by saying now maybe more than ever is really an important time to have those deep connections with your team.
Yeah, it's so important, Pete. And when we get so busy as owners, it's easy to forget that, although we don't want to. We're just in reactive mode, right? Putting out fires all the time. But slowing down and pausing and then getting out of the busy to think about your team and your culture and where you're really trying to take your business, I think right now is such an important time to look at the calls and the dispatch board, the phone's ringing and ringing, which is such a blessing, and we want it. And we have to resist the urge to respond to every single thing, right? Because
You're
if our
so
techs,
right.
we need that open door of communication so our techs can say, hey, I've been running 12-hour days for 7 days a week. I need a break. And then as owners, we have to say, no, well, I'm not going to send you to that other call way out in the middle of nowhere, and really do a better job prioritizing what kind of work can we do right now to keep our core team engaged, appreciated, and then keep it a little bit more consistent, right?
No question.
Difficult.
Yeah, I think, when you take care of your team, they're going to take care of the customer, right? And just having a little perspective to say that we can't and we may not want to take every single call right now because we've got to protect the health of our team. And I think that the folks that are in that situation, if you think back, a year from now and said, hey, you're going to be in this situation where you're going to have more work than you can handle. And you're going to get to pick and choose a little bit of what makes the most sense for your business. Most owners would say, what a great situation to be in.
Yeah.
compared to the opposite of, hey, we're struggling to get the phone to ring. We don't have enough work. People aren't buying. So I think it's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to remember that, but just keeping the balance of trying to grow your business, but also trying to, grow your team and keep them healthy.
Yeah. And as a leader, it's important for us to remember how we respond, right? And right now, our team needs us to respond well by looking out for their best interest.
Yeah, I think, and candidly, your team will recognize that. They'll recognize, wow, he or she is looking out for me.
Mm-hmm.
They care about my well-being, and that's powerful. That's,
it is.
Reemerging from this pandemic, which is in a lot of businesses isolated people.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of broke connections, and being able to have, a leader say, hey, I'm looking out for you, I care about you. That kind of brings that connection back into place, which I think is going to be the difference between some of the winning contractors and some of the ones that are going to struggle a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's talk also about kind of growing your team right now. The importance of communication and having those deep team connections. I love how you hit on that. And what are you seeing? Has anybody found a way to really grow their team right now?
Well, I think the short answer is, every contractor could take on probably, 25 to 40% more workforce because they have the work to satisfy it. We're seeing some really optimistic signs of people doing things to make their experience. Think about that. Think about the experience that we as leaders provide for our teams. We're very focused on providing an experience for our customers.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are also very focused on giving an experience for their teams are doing pretty well. I'll give just an example. One company is doing a rib off. That company happens to be ours. We're doing a rib off, this week, where we're bringing in some different restaurants, and we're having them provide the best ribs that they make. And our staff is coming in, or our team, I should say, is coming in to eat and judge and pick their favorites. Now, you can boil it down and say, oh, well, we bought lunch, but no, it became a lot more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
of course it did.
Yeah. And so I think we're seeing some signs out there where people are starting to get it.
Yeah.
One of the things, our fall show, Service World, one of the, we've got three keynote speakers, but I'll speak about one, Gino Wickman, the author of Traction and the creator of EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. So Gino has created a way to have vision for your business, and then kind of funneling it down to some 1-year plan, quarterly objectives, monthly goals, and weekly meetings. And so when you talk about how do you have meetings with connection and engagement, when you have a vision that you can share with your team and your team buys into it, those weekly meetings become more than just, oh God, we have Monday morning meeting.
Mm-hmm.
They become a check-in. They become, how are we doing? Are we on track? Are we off track? How are we feeling? Are there any issues that we want to discuss? And how do we, solve those issues? So it really becomes something that we hope that people will look forward to meeting with their teams, collaborating, identifying, discussing, and solving issues. And that's one of the reasons that we asked Gino to come and speak at our show. Is we just think now more than ever is going to be so important for people to have vision, because business is coming and you gotta know where you're going, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I look forward to that. And I've found so many contractors don't know what to meet about. And so when we do a survey and a poll, check the pulse of who's actually having team meetings, it's a very, very small, surprisingly small percent of people that are actually having those consistent meetings. And in part because they don't even know, like, what do we train on? What do we talk about? Sure, there's stuff to train on, but bringing it back, like you said, get the vision for the company and where we're going in the future and break it down and
Yep.
into manageable bites, and keeping the team engaged in that. This is where the company's going. This is what we're working on. This is what we're focusing on. It's so key. I look forward to that. That's going to be a good session.
It's going to be really, really great. I'm super excited about him because not only is he going to do a keynote, he's going to do a workshop afterwards. So this is one of those keynotes where you're not only going to just be entertained and inspired, but he's going to give you tools that you're going to leave with that are going to transform your business and hopefully actually transform your life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Ray.
yeah, I think it's great. Interesting fact about, company meetings. On a national study, most people rated their team meetings 4 out of 10, 10 being the best. And so 4 is obviously a failing grade. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people, either have bad meetings or just abandon them altogether because no one's getting anything out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Gino talked about creating a level 10 meeting to where every time we meet, we have a very high performance, a very engaging meeting, purposeful, and, not too long. So short, get to the point and get on with it. And we've adopted that in Service Nation and some of our departments, and it's going very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Our meetings are better. They're more structured. They're more focused, and we're getting things done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And I've been learning too, just that there's meetings for problem solving and getting stuff done. And then there's meetings for updates. There's meetings for making decisions. There's different types of meetings, and the importance of not letting those different types intermingle. Like, nope, this meeting is for this. That conversation needs to wait until the next opportunity.
Well, anything that has structure so people understand why we're here and what we're trying to accomplish is the key, right?
Mm-hmm. It sure is. Can we talk a little bit more about Service World Expo? I've been a fan ever since the very beginning. I love going to Service World, and it's been really fun to watch the growth. You guys started, is this the 5th year or 6th?
I believe it's the 6th. I have to go back and count.
It's still young, but I mean, tremendous growth. It's a very large show.
Yeah, it's not only a large show, it's the largest show.
It's the largest show.
Yeah, it's the largest residential, if you will, contracting show in the country. And we expect to have just a tremendous amount of people coming to this one. I think a lot of people are, I guess, thirsty for connection again, thirsty to come see people, be face to face again. The things that, Zoom and these other things did were breakthrough, and they were great, but I don't think they'll ever replace the connections that we have when we see people face to face. They'll never replace some of the parties that we're having afterwards, where again, it becomes networking and finding people that have maybe done what you want to do, and you can learn from them. If you want to grow your business from this plateau to this one, there's people there that have done it. And they'll tell you how they did it. They're very, very giving in their information. So it's really a wonderful thing. This year, I'm beyond excited about our keynotes. I mentioned Gino, but we also have Chris Dunham, who is a international, very well-known speaker. He worked for the Zig Ziglar group.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's an immigrant from India, and he is absolutely electric. He dynamic speaker, really gets you to think, really reminds you to be thankful that how great America is, and the opportunities that we have, and the freedom that we have, and just how wonderful it is. And he makes a lot of wonderful references to his perspective when he came to this country, which reminds you of just how great it is.
Right.
And then for our Alliance Day, for our Alliance members, we have a gentleman named Scott Mann, who I'm really excited about. He's a Green Beret, and he is coming in to talk about connections and the power of, he calls it high stakes storytelling. And in a nutshell, he's helping people do what we said earlier, form these deeper connections by high stakes storytelling, not only telling stories, but listening to other people's stories. And he says, we're wired in a way that, we used to, thousands of years ago, sit around a fire and communicate with people, tell stories.
Totally.
And he goes, and so we're in a modern world now where we're learning things through, PowerPoint and text and Zoom and, and all these things. And he goes, we need to get back to that deeper connection.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to help contractors and our alliance members really build these connections with their teams at a deeper level. And I think it's going to help them really survive and thrive during these times.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So that's on the Alliance Day.
Yes.
Day before. Okay, really cool. So what about if
that's the last day this year?
Oh, okay. Great. I'm glad that you
Yeah, it's on the 24th.
Okay. So what about somebody that's maybe never attended? It's a large show, a little intimidating.
Okay. Yeah. I think for first-time attendees, number one, we welcome you. We really want you to come and see this event. It's the biggest in our industry. What I would invite them to do is to go to our website. It's serviceexpo.com and
serviceworldexpo.com.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Serviceworldexpo.com and look at the agenda, look at the schedule, and find some. I think we have nearly 35 to 40 breakout sessions. So we're going to have content for everybody there. We're going to have tracks where you can stay on a certain theme. Let's call it like a manager's track, where you can stay inside that lane and really help your skills, marketing. Or you can kind of go around and pick different topics that may be of interest to you. The keynotes are worth the price of admission alone. Even if you just do the keynotes, I think you're going to go, this was wonderful.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right? The breakouts are going to give you real tangible, kind of come down to a lower level of, hey, these are real tangible things I can take away. And then the two things we really, really like are the exhibit hall, where we've got 130 140 exhibitors that are going to be there with their products and services. And afterwards, on 3 of the nights, we're going to have parties for everybody. I mean, thousands of people. And one of them is going to be at Churchill Downs, where the Kentucky Derby.
I was hoping you guys would go there. Good.
Yeah. So we're going to have something at Churchill Downs.
Awesome.
Yeah. And rumor has it that, we're in Louisville, we're in Kentucky. There might be a bourbon floating around somewhere. I'm not sure. But yeah, for first-time attendees, I think they're going to have a great time. And really what I would say to anyone that's attending a conference is understand what your goal is. Go in with, hey, I need to learn this, or I want to talk to these folks, or I want to meet a contractor that is maybe, 5 years ahead of me. And I want to find out what kind of potholes are on the road ahead and how do I avoid those. So.
Yeah. And, also some of my best times at Service World Expo have been during meals. I know you guys always have like breakfast and lunch, for example. You can just pick a table and sit with people, and everybody there, like other contractors are a little nervous to be there too, right? And not everybody knows everybody. So sit at a table, pick a table with somebody that you don't know, and introduce yourself. And the conversations that you'll have around those tables at mealtime, I've found those to be just really organic and encouraging and great ways to make connections with people.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think organic, encouraging, surprising, sometimes you'll meet somebody. I was at one time and I sat down next to a guy and I just started talking to him, and all of a sudden I knew who his company was, and I knew that, they were 3, 4, 5, times larger than me.
Yeah.
And I said, can I come to your shop? Can I come visit? And we set something up. A few months later, I flew into his shop and did a visit and just learned from, how they're doing things. And so that happened because of this kind of interaction.
That's so cool. And, I actually kind of coined that, Pete. I call it executive ride along. And so I've been looking at different people in the industry saying, hey, can I come do a ride along with you and just see how you run your day? How do you run your meetings, right? How do you communicate with your team? And whether or not it's somebody that's, very large, or maybe they're the same size as you, but they have better systems and processes and their life seems just to be a little bit easier than yours. Those are all great things to look at. And I love how you did that, because I would recommend anybody doing that. And when you ask, I've found if you ask, hey, can I come do a ride along and hang out with you and your team? Everybody's really excited to have you.
It's so true. And it's one of my favorite things about this industry is how generous and giving and sharing everybody is. Obviously there's, you probably aren't going to share your best secrets with your competitor, a block down the street, but someone comes in from across the country. They are very sharing and very giving and saying, not only, hey, here's how we do it, and this is what not to do, but, by the way, here, if you have any problems or questions later, give me a call, and so you form friendships from these shows that last for years.
They really do.
Yeah.
So many of my best friends are in the industry from stuff like this.
Yeah, it's going to be a really great show. We're super excited. It's in September, so hopefully, everyone's going to come off of a wonderful summer. They're going to want to exhale, and come to Louisville, which I'm being told now is the new Nashville. So there's
interesting,
right? So there's going to be a lot of excitement about the city. And we're going to have some great parties. I think it's going to be a really good time just for everyone to get away for, a few days to recharge, retool, and re-engage.
Yeah, I can't wait. Hey, Pete, if you don't care, tell me a little bit about, just for those that are concerned with COVID-19. I know that there's many that aren't concerned and are ready to travel, but there's a few that are just a little bit hesitant. Should I travel? Is it the right time to travel? Are there any precautions that you guys are taking that might make people feel a little bit better?
Yeah, great question. So we are following the guidance of Louisville, and our show is at their convention center. So it's very large. It's very spread out. And so we're going to follow whatever guidance that they issue. So I know they're watching it very closely. So we feel pretty confident that we're going to be able to have a great show, give people the, the term that we've all heard enough, social distance.
I know.
We think because it's in such a large venue that we will have some space for folks, but we will absolutely follow the guidance of Louisville and make sure that we're giving not only a great show, but a safe show.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know I'm excited to be there. My team's excited to be there, and contractors I've been talking to are excited and ready to be traveling again and seeing each other. So
yeah, no question. And thank you for coming. We really are glad to have you there.
Awesome. Well, Pete, it's been great having you today. Thanks so much for the knowledge and wisdom that you've shared. I really appreciate your perspectives on the industry and what's going on. So it's been fun chatting with you. Anything that you'd like to leave us with, or?
I wanted to thank you for your partnership. Thank you for doing this for the industry, and giving folks, a vehicle to get information in a concise manner. Again, thank you to the contractors that continue to do a great job and keep our country healthy and comfortable. I'm proud of you, and look forward to seeing you in Louisville.
Same. Thanks so much, Pete. And again, if you haven't registered already, go to serviceworldexpo.com and save your spot today. Thanks so much for listening in. I really appreciate how Pete honed in on the importance of communication with our teams, listening and receiving feedback, and keeping that door of communication open with our technicians and allowing them to come to us, especially if they're experiencing or getting close to burnout. We don't want that for our team. So it's really important right now as leaders to cautiously navigate our growth and make sure that we're checking the pulse of our teams along the way. So again, thanks for listening in. It was great having you. And we look forward to seeing you at Service World Expo in September. And in October, Business Uncensored in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Business Uncensored is our annual business conference by the New Flat Rate. You can get more info at 2021bu.com.
Thanks for listening to the New Flat Rate podcast. I hope you got some great takeaways to put in your toolkit this week. If you'd like to learn more about the new flat rate or our done-for-you menu pricing system, check us out at tnfr.us. Have a great day.